Hi, everyone. Welcome to my weekly Sunday live stream. As I usually do, I'm going to start just a few minutes early, give everyone a chance to join, and in the meantime, go over some of the basic details that I like to cover at the very beginning. So, for everyone, oh wow, and a lot of people are already here. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. So quickly, I'll just give you the schedule. For the first 10 minutes, I'll cover our latest properties. Then I'll move on to our latest blog posts, what information is available in those, and then what I'm thinking of posting this upcoming week. And then finally, the last 10 minutes, the whole live stream is 30 minutes, I'll do the free, or not free, complimentary vacation giveaway, which I know you're all very excited about. So let's get started. So as a brief introduction, for anyone who doesn't know who I am, my name's Erica. My company is Gokce Capital. The website is gokcecapital.com. I pulled it up here. And I buy and sell vacant land, but I also try to put out a lot of resources to help landowners, buyers, and sellers, because I know that land can be a complicated investment. And there's a lot more going on with it, even though land is vacant, and it's an real estate asset class that real estate agents and other real estate professionals are not always super familiar with. So I tried to put out content that I found was lacking when I started investing in vacant land. And you can find all of this by going to my blog, which is on my website, gokcecapital.com. You can hover over more and click blog. I do also have, if you hover over more, you'll see that I do also have a book if you're interested in that. It includes 11 stories of mistakes I made, and then also a very long due diligence checklist. And on top of that, I have a few courses as well, including a due diligence program and a land investing program. And of course, since you're all here on YouTube, you probably already know about my YouTube channel. But on my YouTube channel, I do some videos with information like the blog. They're shorter than the blog. They're 5 to 10 minutes, but it gives you good information if you are a landowner, buyer, or seller. So hi, everyone. Happy you are all here. Thank you so much for joining. So I am going to get started with the first 10-minute segment going over our properties. But again, just as a note, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. And as I take a break, I will respond to any questions that I get. So hi, everyone. I hope you all have had a wonderful weekend. All right. So if you want to see all of our available properties, you can click Buy Land on our main listing page. This will pull up a map with all current listed properties. The red pins are properties that are available, and this is an interactive map, so you can scroll in, scroll out, find the areas that you're interested in. And then if you pick on a pin, you'll see a link to that property's full listing page. So here's an example. You can also scroll down. There's a chart that gives you a little more information about each property if you wanted to dig a little deeper in them. I also like to note that if I go back to our home page, if you are interested in properties and you want to get a text alert whenever we post a new property, you can click subscribe and then click SMS text notifications. This will let you sign up to receive text alerts either whenever we post a new property, or you can select up to 5 different states and you'll only get alerts when we post in those states. And of course, we also post videos for every property that we list. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll get a notification whenever we post a new property. And I do see that there are some questions here. So first of all, Alberto says, I have some land in Utah. Should I sell or get trailers and rent it out? So I'm sorry, Alberto. I try not to give advice like this since I'm, for liability reasons. But I would say it really depends on run the numbers, see what makes more sense. In many cases, renting out works, but there are also areas where you're not going to get much for rent or you may not see much traction. So yeah, I would take a look at comps, both rental comps and sales comps, and run the numbers based on your purchase price to see what makes the most sense financially. And then there's another question here. What state is your favorite to own land? Well, that's an easy one. Every state. We do try to buy land in every state. I do have areas that I think are the most beautiful, but those are personal preferences. It has nothing to do with land investing. I generally think that land is a great asset. It doesn't matter where it is. All that matters is the price and the characteristics of that particular property. All right. Okay. But if anyone has any thoughts on what the best state to buy land in, go ahead and share it in the chat and maybe we can get some discussion going while I go over our properties. And, and that's also a good point, Alberto. I should have mentioned that as well. Whether you want to sell or rent it out does also depend on what you're allowed to do with the property. Many areas will restrict short-term rental RVs, tiny homes, mobile homes, all of those. So make sure that you understand what you can actually do on the property before you make that decision. All right. Okay, so our latest properties, let me go back to our YouTube channel. You can see I did recently post a property in Socorro County and Iron County. May have gone over the Iron County last week, but I'll still cover it again here. So first we'll do the Socorro County. This is 5.51 acres in Socorro County, New Mexico. And a lot of our properties in Socorro and Valencia County are in the Tierra Grande Improvement Association, which is one of my favorite subdivisions in the New Mexico area. And just to orient ourselves here, we're about 50 minutes south of Albuquerque. You can see Albuquerque here. Here are the Manzano Mountains. And this is this more rural area just to the south of Albuquerque. You can access it via Route 47. I like Tierra Grande because unlike most of the other subdivisions in this particular area, Tierra Grande has actually helped build out some of the basic infrastructure that is needed in order to build and live out here. So they've done a pretty good job at blading out and maintaining the roads. They've also made sure that there's power throughout the subdivision, although you still often need to extend it a bit to any one property. So there are about 150 people who live out here. You can build, but it isn't an HOA. I know not everyone likes HOAs, but they're to each his own, but I think that in very rural areas, HOAs are actually somewhat of a benefit. It depends on the management, of course. Tierra Grande, I really like their management. I think they're well managed. But when you're in a very rural area, especially in areas where the county doesn't do things like maintain roads or handle infrastructure, I think that they're a great resource if you're looking to actually build and live on the property. And having an HOA also means that you have a little more security. So if you're going to be absent for a long period of time or absent altogether, you have a little more peace of mind. It's more likely that there'll be some eyes on the property and some security as well. So for instance, Tierra Grande has a community watch. But yes, again, I know many people don't like HOAs. And this property is currently priced, the cash price, at $3,999. As with all of our properties, we do offer both a cash discount price and an owner financing option. And briefly on the owner financing, for all of our owner finance properties, it's only $1 down plus the document fee. Usually that's $299, although sometimes it varies depending on what the closing requirements are in that particular state. In this case, it would then only be $199 per month for 30 months. And as with all of our owner finance properties, there's no prepayment penalty, so you can always pay off the loan early. You just still pay the owner finance price. And there's no credit check, so we have no extensive application process, no credit check. you just go to a property's main listing page, click buy or hold, and then click buy. Once this loads, you'll see, click buy. And when you go to the buy page, you select the property you're interested in, whether you want cash or owner financing, and then fill out your details. So we try to make it very easy. And it's the same for both cash and owner financing. If you do want to purchase with cash, this will let you pay the document fee. And once that's paid, I'll reach out to you to discuss transfer the rest of the purchase price. I'll also note that this system automatically generates all legal documents, so we keep it very streamlined and we try to make it very easy and fast. All right. So that is Socorro County. Let me quickly go over our Iron County property. I may have covered this last week, but I'll still cover it again because I like Iron County. Actually, I had some family members who this week are out in this area and they've been sending me a bunch of photos. This region is gorgeous. It's home to, Iron County itself is near a number of national parks. You can see them here. There's Zion National Park, Dixie National Forest. So the surrounding area is quite beautiful. The largest city in Iron County is Cedar City, which is called Festival City, and also the gateway to national parks. Because it's so close to so many national parks, it's also close to a ski resort, which is right outside. Cedar City, I believe, is about an hour and 20 minutes away from this property, but I could have that time a little bit off. Now, the property itself is located in this flat region in between mountain ranges. You can see that there is a fair amount of agricultural activity going on here, although I will note that now in Iron County, you do need to get water rights to drill any new wells. So if you wanted to look into that, I would recommend talking to the Utah Division of Water Resources. And I see, I'll just take a note, I see that we started a whole discussion on HOAs. So yes, I know there are many HOAs that are not well managed, but I think it's a good point to discuss. So this property, it does have platted legal access. There is a platted road along this side, so that means that when the developer subdivided the properties out in this area, he or she did put in for legal roads to all the properties. But this road hasn't been developed yet, so that's one thing to note. There does also appear to be an arroyo that runs along the northern boundary of the property. But this is one of the larger properties we have in Iron County, and the current cash discount price is $11,499. And again, of course, we also offer owner financing with $1 down and the $299 document fee. And then in this case, it's $299 per month for 58 months. And Silent Ninja, yes, that's a very good point. For a limited time, so I know many of you are here for the vacation giveaway on the live stream, but for a limited time, we actually offer a complimentary vacation voucher when you purchase a property as well. So that's another way to get a voucher if you don't win one through the live stream. It's the same thing as what I give out on the live stream. So all of the information you'll hear at the end of this live stream applies to the vacation voucher you get when you purchase a property. All right, so that covers section 1. I'll now move on to the blog post that I posted last week and then what I'm thinking about posting in the upcoming week. So you can keep an eye out for that. Now, if you haven't yet checked out my blog, you may want to do so. I do post 3 or 4, sometimes more blogs a week, and all of these are long blogs. I try to go into a lot of detail on any one topic. You can see here. So if there are some real estate terms or concepts that you're interested in researching, you can search the blog and well, we've probably covered it already because we've done a number of blog posts. So you may want to take a look. Again, I try to thoroughly research all of the blog posts that I do. And one question on how do we enter to win? So we're gonna do the vacation giveaway at the end of this live stream. You don't enter to win the voucher with the property purchase, you just get it with your property purchase. So one last note there. Okay, so this past week I posted blog posts. The first one was on a leasehold, which is essentially when you're leasing a property, not buying it. This is something that I think everyone thinks is pretty basic, but there is a lot more to it than you may initially think. There's a reason that a lot of lease agreements are pretty thick. So if you are a renter or plan to become a renter, or you're going to, say, rent agricultural land, or if you're going to lease out your land, say lease your land to a farmer or a rancher, lease it out, of course, to short-term renter for residential purposes or short-term rentals, or lease out for wind or solar development, and you've never leased land before, it can be a good idea to look into what some of the legal terms actually mean when it comes to leasing land, although of course you do want to have a lawyer involved as well. So it's a basic concept, but I think it's important to dive into, and you may want to check it out if that applies to you. Oh, I missed that question. Thank you, admin GocheDB. There was one question on the Tierra Grande property. The property is zoned residential, so for the most part it limits animals, but you are allowed 2 horses for every 5 acres. So if you're interested in horses, you can have that in this HOA. And then, okay, this is actually another good question about vouchers when you're purchasing a property. So with the vacation voucher, I'll cover this in the terms later, you are only allowed 1 every 12 months. So if you win one through the live stream, you won't be able to use the second one that you get when you purchase a property, although you can give it to a family member if you wanted, or a friend. Just, you can't say it's going to be under my family member's name and then try to use it, because if you go to a hotel and it gets flagged that you'd used one before, they can reject it. So you can give it to someone else. The other option is we do have some hotel savings cards. So if you've already gotten a voucher, we can give that to you instead. And that applies for both the live stream wins. So if you'd won before during a live stream, we can give out that hotel savings card. Or if you purchase a property and you'd already won a vacation voucher, we can give that to you as well. All right, the next blog post that I posted this week was on encumbrances. This is another really important topic. Encumbrances are basically anything that can impact title to the property. So they're really important to understand. They come up fairly regularly with vacant land. Vacant land does tend to see, at least in my experience, vacant land does tend to see more encumbrances than residential, although that can vary based on where you are. Not every encumbrance is a bad thing. There are easements, for example, are considered encumbrances, but they don't necessarily impact your ability to sell land or the ability to get title insurance. A conservation easement, again, is an encumbrance, but there are also lots of encumbrances that are negative. So some of the big examples would be any kind of lien. I did mention leases and easements. Those are things that are probably not going to be as much of an issue when it comes to title. Encroachments are another big issue when it comes to title and just, headaches with vacant land. And then there are things like deed restrictions and zoning. These are also not going to impact your ability to get title insurance or market a property, but you still want to understand whether they exist or not and what is included in these restrictions when you buy land, especially if you want to build on it. Many of you probably are aware of this already because I know you're all savvy land buyers. But encumbrances, again, you may want to just take a look through the blog post because it's an important topic. Some encumbrances can make it very difficult to sell your land. They may also dramatically decrease its marketability or the price that you can command for it. So you can see here there's a section on how it affects your ability to transfer the property. And then another really important topic that I covered this week was code violations. Now, code violations, I don't see these all that often on vacant land, but they can happen a lot if you're building a home, especially if you're building it yourself. And I do, though they're rare, they do sometimes come up on vacant land, mainly if there used to be a structure on the property and it wasn't demolished correctly. That can leave some lingering violations that are going to impact your ability to pull permits later. They may also even impact your ability to transfer the land. And if you become the owner and those code violations are still there, you may even have to pay fees. So the other way that I see code violations with vacant land are if there isn't a structure, but there is a lot of debris, even hazardous material on the property. Like sometimes you'll see people dumping things on a property. In the past, it could even be things like oil tanks. You're not going to see that much anymore. But in areas where there are a lot of neighbors who could complain about that, you may end up with a code violation. And the other time I've seen a code violation with vacant land is if I or you are selling a parcel of land with owner financing, and someone ends up sort of camping full time on a property, or otherwise putting some kind of temporary structure on a property where it's not allowed, you'll get code violations for that. And that's important to know as a land buyer too, even if you're not planning to sell a property with owner financing. If you camp on a property or you put an RV on it and that's not allowed by zoning, you'll get a violation for that if it's flagged for the appropriate department. So that's why it's important to understand what exactly is allowed on a property before you purchase. And then the last blog post is on geomapping. That's a little more technical. That's things like GIS maps. If that's something you're interested in, particularly if you're a land investor, it's worth checking out because geomapping in general can be very useful if you're looking at lots of different parcels of land. And I'll wrap up this section. Actually, there's one other thing that I really needed to cover because I did post a Gokce Knowledge video this week, 10 ways to make money from raw land. I'm pretty happy with it. We've been experimenting with a lot of new editing techniques, and I tried to put them all in this video. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. But yeah, take a look at it and let me know what you think. And a good comment here also, don't forget about solar panels. Are they allowed? And that's another good point. If you plan to do off-grid, any kind of off-grid alternative systems like off-grid solar, water recycling, gray water in particular, or alternatives to septics and wells, you do want to make sure that those are allowed. You can get code violations, for example, if you put a composting toilet or an outhouse on a property in many areas. Many jurisdictions don't allow those things. So yeah, that's another reason why it's important to do your research on what is allowed and be very specific about what it is you're looking to do with the property before you purchase a parcel of land, because you'll find that there are a lot of regulations around building, since it's generally considered a life safety, a public health issue. Oh, and thank you. I'm glad to see someone already watched the video and thought it was good. So yeah, happy to hear any comments. Let me know what you think, whether you like the new format, and ways we can make it better. All right, so that covers everything I was going to talk about, which leads us to the segment that I think you're all here for, and that is the vacation giveaway. Now, I know many of you have been here before, so you've heard all the terms before, but I still have to cover them so I can make sure we're all on the same page. And so essentially what I'm giving out with the vacation giveaway is a vacation voucher that is valid for generally a 3-night stay, but sometimes, depending on the location, it's 4 nights in a luxury or high quality hotel. There are a ton of different locations. Our travel partner has a ton of different locations available. There are over 30, I believe, in the US and over 50 globally. So you'll have a lot of options to choose from. Now, the stay is for 1 or 2 people, although there will be some hotels that accept up to 2 children. You'll just have less hotels to choose from. And as I mentioned earlier, you're only allowed 1 voucher every 12 months. So if you've already gotten one, you can either give it to someone else or we can give you a hotel savings card. And oh, thank you, Jessica. I'm glad you liked the video as well. The other thing to note here is that you do pay for the taxes associated with the hotel room. And the reason our travel partner does this is because, well, as they explained it to me, the IRS will tax you, if it's completely free to you, the IRS is going to tax you as if it is income coming to you, and they're going to value the voucher at its market value, which is typically around $1,000. So you'll end up paying taxes at your standard federal tax rate on $1,000 if the voucher was completely free versus just paying the normal taxes associated with the hotel room. And in almost all cases, that's going to be less. So that's why you pay the taxes. And the way it works is if you win, I'll send you an email with a link that'll show you the list of all locations. You'll have to select your location. In each location, you'll have a number of hotels to choose from. So don't worry. Once you get the voucher, you can take a look at all the different hotels. So you do have to choose your location. Once you choose the location, I'll send you the voucher. You have 7 days from when I send it to redeem it. And when you redeem it, you do have to pay the taxes. But then you have 18 days to actually book your trip. So you don't need to book it right now. You don't even need to know when you plan to go. You have 18 months to decide when you will be able to go. I will note, though, that there are going to be some limitations on when you can use the voucher. So like major holidays are usually out, and you may need to pay a little bit extra if for weekends in many circumstances. So just keep that in mind. But other than that, you'll have a number of hotels in the location you chose that you can select from. And you can play around, look at which ones have the dates that work for you, which ones you like the most. It's pretty flexible there. So I think those are, oh, they're saying you can't hear me. I'll keep that in mind for next time. I'll turn the volume up. Or is that volume up on the video? Maybe just shoot me an email with any comments. I'd appreciate it, or leave a comment in the YouTube channel. And then just a few other comments. See, Silent Ninja, you're asking, is it common to get code violations for brush clearance in desert areas? Well, in general, I always say you want to comply with zoning and building codes, but you're more likely to get a violation if there are people nearby who are going to call you in. In rural areas, it's very unlikely that the building code officer is driving around and actually monitoring all the properties. Okay, so let's get started with the vacation giveaway. If you're interested in participating, just say yes. I'll wait for about a minute or two. And once everyone says yes, then we'll randomly select a number. And you're all going to be assigned the number in the order that you said yes. So the first person who says yes is 1, second is 2, so on and so on. And then we'll just select the number, and that person will be our lucky winner. So again, I want to say thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate you sharing your Sunday with me. I hope you've all have had a wonderful weekend. It's beautiful spring weather where I am. I hope it is for all of you. Love May. It's one of the best months, I think. And Giselle, yes, I understand. Well, congratulations on winning last time. Again, I know I've mentioned it a few times, but I will note that because I think we're going to have a lot of repeat winners as we keep doing these. We can give you a hotel savings card. Those are unlimited. You can win them any number of times. You can also, if someone's birthday is coming up or you just want to give someone a nice present, you can win the vacation voucher and then have it sent to them as well. All right, so just want to make sure that everyone, let's wait another 30 seconds to make sure that everyone says yes who wanted to participate. Okay, I don't think we're getting any more yeses. So 2, 3. Looks like we have 18 participants this week, and I hope everyone's noted what their number is. So then I'm going to have Google help me pick a random number between 1 and 18. We can do drum roll. And it is number 6. So let's see. That would be Travel Diva 2. Congratulations on winning this week's vacation giveaway. So if you just send me an email, I'll write in my email here. If you just send me an email, I'll send you a link that shows all the various locations. And no rush, you can take your time, decide where you want to go, let me know, and then I'll send you the voucher. So congratulations. And again, thank you all for sharing your Sunday with me. I hope it's still early, so I hope you still, get some enjoyment out before the next week starts. And please join me again next weekend. Even if you've already won, you can win again. We have other options. And of course, I'll answer any questions that I see in the chat menu as I'm going through what I've covered. Oh, and one last thing before I sign off, I forgot to mention the blog posts I have coming up if anyone's interested in that. So I am going to do, I know I said last week I was going to do some blog posts on soil. I didn't get to them this week, but they are in the queue for this upcoming week. So if you're interested in farming or raising crops, check out the next couple blog posts. They're going to cover some soil topics. And that's about it. I hope I see you all soon. Have a lovely evening.